I'm about to show you the only 3 specific vitamins that are biologically required to restore strong, warm, and pain-free circulation to your legs and feet. If you have been told that cold toes, heaviness in the calves, or those nagging night cramps are just a normal part of aging that you have to live with, you have been given incomplete information. While aging does change our blood vessels, the stiffness and narrowing that block blood flow are often accelerated by specific nutritional deficiencies that are completely reversible. I remember a patient named Arthur, age 74, who came to me convinced he was losing his mobility permanently. He described his legs feeling like lead weights by 2 p.m. every afternoon, and his sleep was constantly interrupted by sharp, tightening cramps in his calves. His doctor had checked his pulses, said they were okay for his age, and told him to drink more water. But water wasn't the problem. Arthur was malnourished in a very specific way. He was eating plenty of food, but he was missing the key micronutrients that signal the arteries to relax and the blood to flow freely. We didn't use expensive medication, we used targeted nutrition to change the biochemistry of his blood vessels. Before we begin, a critical disclaimer. The information I'm sharing today is strictly for educational purposes based on nutritional science. Always consult with your doctor before making changes to your medication. 1. Prioritize vitamin B3, niacin, for microcirculation. The first absolute requirement for waking up dormant leg circulation is vitamin B3, specifically in the form of niacin. You might think of circulation as just the large arteries pumping blood from the heart, but the reality is that the vast majority of your resistance to blood flow happens in the tiny microscopic vessels called capillaries. These are the vessels that actually feed your toes, your skin, and your nerves. When you lack sufficient B3, these tiny vessels remain constantly constricted or clamped down, leaving your extremities cold and starved of oxygen. Niacin is unique because it is a potent natural vasodilator. It physically relaxes the smooth muscle lining of these blood vessels, forcing them to open up and allowing warm, oxygenated blood to rush into areas that have been dry for years. This vitamin acts almost like a manual override switch for your vascular system. In the elderly body, the natural production of nitric oxide, the gas that keeps vessels open, declines significantly. Niacin helps compensate for this loss by directly influencing the diameter of the vessel. When you take niacin or eat foods rich in it, you might experience a flush, a sensation of warmth and redness on the skin. While this can be surprising, it is visible proof of the vitamin working. It is pushing blood into the smallest capillaries of your skin. For someone with cold feet or numbness, this mechanism is exactly what is needed to restore sensation and warmth. It turns a narrow dirt road into a wide paved highway for your blood cells. I recall a patient named Thomas, aged 68, who suffered from chronically cold feet that kept him awake at night, even in the summer. He had tried compression socks, heating pads, and massages, but the relief was always temporary because the problem was internal constriction. His mistake was treating the symptom, the cold, from the outside, rather than treating the cause, the constriction, from the inside. We introduced niacin-rich foods into his daily routine. Within 3 weeks, Thomas reported that for the first time in a decade, he could sleep without socks. The correction was simple. We widened the pipes. His improvement was sustained because we provided the chemical signal his body needed to keep the vessels relaxed naturally. To effectively get this benefit, you do not necessarily need a supplement. You need to focus on the most bioavailable food sources. The absolute best source of vitamin B3 is beef liver, but if that is not to your taste, chicken breast and tuna are exceptional alternatives. A single chicken breast can provide nearly all the niacin you need for the day. For plant-based options, peanuts and avocados are decent sources, though animal sources are generally absorbed more efficiently by the senior digestive tract. The key is consistency. You cannot eat liver once a month and expect results. You need a steady stream of B3 entering your system daily to keep those vessel walls relaxed. 2. Increase vitamin C for vessel wall integrity. The second non-negotiable vitamin for your legs is vitamin C, but not for the reason you think. Most people associate vitamin C with the immune system, but its most critical role in the aging body is the production of collagen. Your blood vessels, veins, and arteries are not just hollow tubes, they are dynamic, muscular structures held together by collagen fibers. Think of collagen as the cement that holds the bricks of your veins together. When you are deficient in vitamin C, this cement begins to crumble. The result is weak, leaky vessels that allow fluid to seep out into the surrounding tissue, causing the ankle swelling, edema, and easy bruising that so many seniors experience. Without adequate vitamin C, the body physically cannot repair the micro tears that happen in your arteries from daily wear and tear. This leads to a condition where the body tries to patch the cracks with the only other material it has available: plaque. There is a prevailing theory in nutritional cardiology that subclinical scurvy, a mild chronic lack of vitamin C, is a primary driver of arterial plaque buildup. By ensuring you have high levels of this vitamin, you allow your body to repair its vessels with strong, flexible collagen instead of brittle, dangerous plaque. This keeps the artery walls smooth and elastic, allowing them to expand and contract with every heartbeat, which is essential for pumping blood back up from the legs against gravity. I remember seeing a patient named Mary, age 72, who was distressed by the purple spider veins appearing on her ankles and the profound swelling she experienced after sitting for just an hour. She was taking a diuretic pill to force the water out, but it left her dehydrated and weak. Her mistake was treating the swelling as a too much water problem, when it was actually a leaky vessel problem. The water was leaking out because her vein walls were too weak to hold it in. We aggressively increased her intake of vitamin C combined with bioflavonoids. Over 2 months, the swelling reduced by 80%, and the bruising stopped completely. Her correction was strengthening the container rather than emptying it. The way to do this is not just by drinking orange juice, which is often high in sugar and low in the necessary cofactors. You need the whole fruit or vegetable because nature packages vitamin C with bioflavonoids, which increase absorption by up to 35%. Red bell peppers are technically superior to oranges, containing almost 3 times the vitamin C per gram. Kiwi fruit and strawberries are also powerhouses. If you are cooking these foods, keep in mind that vitamin C is heat sensitive. Steaming your broccoli lightly preserves the vitamin, whereas boiling it to death destroys it. You want to eat these foods as raw or lightly cooked as your digestion allows. Timing also matters significantly for vitamin C retention. Unlike B vitamins, which can be stored to some degree, vitamin C is water-soluble and is flushed out of the body rapidly, usually within a few hours. Therefore, eating a huge dose at breakfast and nothing for the rest of the day leaves your blood vessels unsupported for 16 hours. You should aim to have a source of vitamin C with every major meal: a kiwi with breakfast, some bell pepper strips with lunch, and broccoli with dinner provides a steady drip feed of repair material for your arteries throughout the entire day and night. This actively patches the microscopic leaks in your circulation. 3. Incorporate vitamin E for blood viscosity. The third essential component for leg circulation is vitamin E, specifically for its ability to regulate blood viscosity, or thickness. As we age, our blood platelets, the cells responsible for clotting, can become sticky. This stickiness is dangerous because it causes the blood to sludge, moving slowly through the veins like ketchup rather than water. This sluggish flow is a primary cause of deep aches in the calves and the risk of clot formation, DVT. Vitamin E acts as a natural, gentle anticoagulant. It coats the platelets and the lining of the blood vessels, ensuring that red blood cells slide past each other smoothly rather than clumping together. Beyond its role as a thinner, vitamin E is the body's master antioxidant for fat-based environments. Since your cell membranes and the lining of your arteries are made of fats, vitamin E is the specific shield that protects them from oxidative rust. When your leg muscles are working, they produce free radicals. If these aren't neutralized, they cause inflammation and pain, known as claudication. Vitamin E sits inside the cell membrane, intercepting this damage before it can stiffen the artery wall. It creates a slippery, friction-free environment inside the vessel, which allows the heart to pump blood to the toes with significantly less effort and pressure. Consider the case of John, aged 65, who loved to walk his dog but found himself stopping every 2 blocks due to a burning pain in his calves. This condition, intermittent claudication, is a classic sign of poor oxygen delivery. He was afraid he would need a stent. His mistake was assuming the blockage was absolute and unchangeable. The correction was changing the quality of his blood to improve flow through the existing narrowing. We introduced high-quality food sources of vitamin E, specifically targeting the full spectrum of the vitamin. Within 6 weeks, John doubled his walking distance before the pain set in. The improvement came because his blood could now navigate the narrower vessels more efficiently, delivering oxygen where it was starving. To get these results, you must understand that vitamin E in nature is complex. It comes in 8 different forms: tocopherols and tocotrienols. Most cheap supplements only give you one form, alpha tocopherol, which can actually create an imbalance. Food provides the perfect ratio. Sunflower seeds are the gold standard here. Just a quarter cup provides nearly 90% of your daily requirement. Almonds and hazelnuts are also excellent. For a softer option, avocados and spinach provide a good dose. However, because vitamin E is fat-soluble, you must eat these foods with some fat for them to be absorbed. Eating spinach salad with fat-free dressing is a waste of vitamin E. You need olive oil to carry it into your bloodstream. Here is another crucial aspect of vitamin B3, niacin, that is often overlooked. Many seniors suffer from high levels of fibrinogen, a protein that increases clot formation and thickens the blood, similar to the sticky platelet issue we discussed with vitamin E. Niacin has been shown to naturally lower fibrinogen levels. This means it works on 2 fronts. It opens the vessel, vasodilation, and it thins the fluid moving through it. This dual action is why niacin is often considered a miracle for peripheral vascular disease. However, it requires a nutritional commitment. You cannot simply take a pill and continue eating inflammatory foods that spike your fibrinogen. The B3 from whole foods like wild-caught salmon or lean turkey works in concert with the protein and healthy fats in those foods to rebuild the vessel structure while managing the blood flow. It is also worth mentioning the connection between niacin and your lipid profile. While we are often told to lower cholesterol, niacin specifically raises HDL, the good cholesterol. HDL acts like a scavenger in your leg arteries, scrubbing away excess cholesterol from the vessel walls and transporting it back to the liver. By increasing your B3 intake, you are essentially hiring a cleaning crew for your leg arteries. This is not an overnight process. It takes months of consistent intake to see a change in the plaque stability, but the improved sensation in your feet can happen much faster due to the immediate vasodilation effects. Let's look deeper into the how-to for vitamin C absorption. We mentioned that vitamin C is water-soluble and leaves the body quickly, but there are antagonists that can block it from working at all. The biggest antagonist is sugar. Glucose and vitamin C have a nearly identical molecular structure. They compete for the same entry doors into your cells, the GLUT receptors. If your blood sugar is high from eating cake, bread, or pasta, the sugar will crowd out the vitamin C, and your cells will starve of this nutrient even if you just drank a glass of orange juice. For seniors, especially those with prediabetes or diabetes, this is critical. To fix your leg circulation, you must lower your sugar intake to allow the vitamin C to actually reach the collagen in your veins. Furthermore, stress depletes vitamin C at an alarming rate. Your adrenal glands use more vitamin C than any other organ in the body. When you are stressed, anxious, or in pain, your body burns through its vitamin C stores to produce stress hormones, leaving none for your arteries. This is why you often see seniors' health deteriorate rapidly after a stressful event like a surgery or the loss of a spouse. In these times, increasing your intake of bell peppers, cruciferous vegetables, and berries is not just a dietary choice. It is a structural necessity to prevent your blood vessels from losing their integrity. Understanding the vitamin E safety valve. There is often fear surrounding vitamin E because of old studies using synthetic, isolated alpha tocopherol that showed mixed results. However, obtaining vitamin E from whole foods like seeds and nuts has never been shown to be harmful. In fact, it is consistently protective. The safety valve is nature's packaging. When you eat an almond, the vitamin E is protected by the fiber and fats of the nut, allowing for slow, regulated release into your system. This prevents the over-thinning of blood that can happen with high-dose synthetic supplements. Additionally, vitamin E requires selenium to work properly. Selenium is a trace mineral that recharges vitamin E after it has neutralized a free radical. Without selenium, vitamin E is a one-and-done molecule. The best source of selenium is Brazil nuts. Just 1 or 2 Brazil nuts contain your entire daily requirement. Pairing your vitamin E source, like sunflower seeds, with a selenium source, 1 Brazil nut, creates a powerful recycling system in your body, allowing the vitamin E to keep protecting your leg arteries for hours longer than it would on its own. 4. Add magnesium to relax tight arteries. The fourth critical nutrient is not a vitamin, but a mineral that acts as the master switch for your vascular system: magnesium. While calcium is the mineral that causes muscles to contract and arteries to stiffen, magnesium is the mineral that signals them to relax and dilate. In the modern senior diet, we often consume an excess of calcium through dairy and fortified foods, but fall woefully short on magnesium. This imbalance leaves the smooth muscles wrapping around your leg arteries in a state of chronic, low-grade spasm. This constriction increases blood pressure and makes it physically harder for blood to flow down to your feet, leading to that heavy, dead weight sensation in the legs. Magnesium deficiency is also the primary culprit behind those excruciating nocturnal leg cramps that wake you up in the middle of the night. When your magnesium levels drop, the electrical stability of your nerves is compromised, causing them to misfire and lock the muscle into a painful contraction. By restoring magnesium levels, you essentially turn off the overactive nerve signals and allow the arterial walls to soften. This physiological relaxation opens the vascular pathways, lowering resistance and allowing blood to flow passively and effortlessly to the extremities. It transforms a tight, high-pressure system into a calm, open river. I recall a patient named Helen, aged 70, who suffered from nightly calf cramps so severe she was afraid to go to sleep. She was drinking tonic water for the quinine, but it wasn't working and was upsetting her stomach. Her mistake was treating the cramp as a muscle problem rather than an electrolyte signaling problem. We introduced magnesium-rich foods and a topical magnesium oil to her evening routine. Within 4 days, the cramps stopped completely, and she noticed her feet were warmer during the day. The correction was rebalancing the calcium-magnesium ratio in her tissues. Her improvement was rapid because magnesium absorbs quickly and acts directly on the neuromuscular junction. To get these benefits, you must focus on the most potent food sources because magnesium is easily depleted by stress, coffee, and diuretics. Pumpkin seeds are the undisputed champion. Just a quarter cup contains nearly half of your daily requirement. Spinach and Swiss chard are also excellent, provided they are cooked to reduce the oxalates that can block absorption. Dark chocolate, at least 70% cocoa, is a surprising and delicious source that also provides antioxidants for vessel health. Avocados are another senior-friendly option, easy to digest and rich in potassium, which works alongside magnesium to regulate fluid balance. 5. Secure vitamin K2 to direct calcium. The fifth essential nutrient is vitamin K2, the traffic cop of your circulatory system. You likely know about vitamin D and calcium for bone health, but without vitamin K2, that calcium can end up in the wrong place. Instead of going into your bones where it strengthens your skeleton, calcium can get deposited into the soft tissues of your arteries, turning them from flexible, rubber-like tubes into rigid, bone-like pipes. This process, called arterial calcification, is a major driver of poor circulation in seniors because a stiff artery cannot expand to accommodate blood flow during movement. Vitamin K2 activates a specific protein called matrix GLA protein, MGP, which physically sweeps calcium out of the arteries and shuttles it into the bone. This is distinct from vitamin K1, which is found in leafy greens and is involved in blood clotting. K2 is found in fermented foods and animal fats and is involved in calcium transport. For a senior concerned about hardened arteries or atherosclerosis, K2 is arguably the most important preventive nutrient. It stops the progression of stiffening vessels and, in some animal studies, has even shown the potential to reverse existing calcification. By keeping the arterial walls soft and pliable, K2 ensures that your pulse wave can travel smoothly down to your feet, maintaining healthy blood pressure and ensuring nutrients reach the furthest capillaries. I think of a patient named Robert, aged 76, who had lead pipe arteries visible on his X-rays, a sign of significant calcification. He was taking high-dose calcium supplements for his osteoporosis, which was unintentionally making his circulation worse. His mistake was flooding his system with calcium without the guide to tell it where to go. The correction was adding vitamin K2 to his regimen while moderating his calcium intake. Over the next 2 years, his arterial stiffness metrics improved, and his bone density actually increased more than it had on calcium alone. His improvement came from correcting the distribution error in his mineral metabolism. The best dietary source of vitamin K2 is a Japanese fermented soybean dish called natto, which contains vastly more K2 than any other food. However, its strong taste and slimy texture make it difficult for many Western palates. Fortunately, hard cheeses like Gouda, Brie, and Edam, as well as egg yolks and goose liver pâté, are rich and accessible sources. The key is that the animals must be grass-fed. Cows eating grass produce K2, while cows eating grain produce very little. Therefore, choosing high-quality, grass-fed dairy and eggs is a medicinal choice for your arteries. Because vitamin K2 is fat-soluble, you must eat it with fat. A slice of Gouda cheese or a scrambled egg yolk provides the perfect vehicle for absorption. If you are on blood thinners like warfarin, Coumadin, you must consult your doctor before increasing your vitamin K intake, as it can affect your clotting time, INR. However, for those not on these specific medications, K2 is a safe and vital nutrient that bridges the gap between bone health and heart health, ensuring that your skeleton stays hard while your blood vessels stay soft. This preserves the elasticity required for youthful circulation. 6. Use omega-3 fatty acids to quench inflammation. The sixth and final pillar of leg circulation is omega-3 fatty acids. While we often hear about omega-3s for brain health, their role in vascular health is to act as the body's primary fire extinguisher. Chronic inflammation in the blood vessels causes the inner lining, the endothelium, to become swollen and sticky, attracting plaque and narrowing the channel for blood flow. Omega-3s produce specialized molecules called resolvins that actively resolve this inflammation, calming the vessel wall and returning it to a smooth, healthy state. Furthermore, omega-3s improve the flexibility of the red blood cells themselves. A red blood cell has to squeeze through capillaries that are often smaller than the cell itself. To do this, it must fold and deform. Omega-3s are incorporated into the cell membrane of the red blood cell, making it more fluid and deformable. This allows the blood to slide through the tiniest microvessels in your toes and ankles with minimal resistance. This is why populations that consume high amounts of omega-3s have significantly lower rates of peripheral artery disease and report warmer extremities. I remember Margaret, age 68, who battled constant swelling in her ankles and a feeling of tightness in her skin. Her inflammatory markers, CRP, were high, indicating systemic irritation. Her diet was low in fish and high in vegetable oils, omega-6s, which promote inflammation. Her mistake was fueling the fire with corn and soybean oil. The correction was flipping the ratio, removing the inflammatory oils and flooding the system with omega-3s. We added fatty fish to her diet 3 times a week. Within a month, her ankle swelling decreased significantly and her CRP levels dropped by half. Her improvement was a direct result of changing the lipid composition of her cell membranes. The how-to for omega-3s is specific. You need the preformed EPA and DHA found in marine sources. While walnuts and flax seeds contain ALA, a plant-based omega-3, the senior body is very inefficient at converting ALA into the active EPA-DHA forms, often converting less than 5%. Therefore, you must rely on fatty fish like sardines, mackerel, salmon, and herring. Sardines are particularly excellent because they are low on the food chain, meaning they have very low mercury levels compared to larger fish like tuna. Canned sardines in olive oil or water, not soybean oil, are a convenient shelf-stable medicine cabinet for your veins. Why hydration is the silent partner of these vitamins. None of these vitamins can do their job if your blood volume is too low. Dehydration thickens the blood, making it harder to pump and concentrating inflammatory markers. As we age, our thirst mechanism blunts. We simply don't feel thirsty even when we need water. This means you cannot rely on thirst as a signal. You must drink water proactively. However, drinking plain water isn't always enough if you are losing electrolytes. Adding a pinch of sea salt for sodium and trace minerals and a squeeze of lemon for electrolytes to your water helps your body retain the fluid in the blood vessels rather than just peeing it out. This maintains the river depth needed for flow. Proper hydration also supports the kidneys in filtering out metabolic waste. When your circulation is poor, waste products accumulate in the legs, contributing to pain and swelling. By staying hydrated, you help the kidneys pull these toxins out of the blood, reducing the load on your veins. It is a simple, free intervention that amplifies the effect of every vitamin we have discussed. Aim for steady sipping throughout the day rather than chugging large amounts at once, which can overwhelm the system. The circadian rhythm of vascular nutrition. Timing your nutrition can optimize how your body uses these nutrients. Your body's ability to process fats and repair tissue follows a daily rhythm. The best time to eat your fat-soluble vitamins, K2, E, and omega-3s, is with your largest meal of the day, usually lunch or an early dinner when your bile production is highest. This ensures maximum absorption. Conversely, magnesium is best taken in the evening or with dinner. Because magnesium relaxes muscles and the nervous system, it prepares your body for sleep. Eating your pumpkin seeds or taking your magnesium glycinate supplement an hour before bed can significantly improve sleep quality while preventing those night cramps. Avoid heavy, high-carbohydrate meals late at night. High blood sugar damages the endothelial lining, the inner wall of the blood vessel, and reduces the production of nitric oxide during sleep, which is when your body does most of its repair work. By eating a lighter, protein and fat-focused dinner, like salmon and steamed spinach, you provide the raw materials for vessel repair right before the night shift begins. This aligns your diet with your biology, turning your sleep into a therapy session for your circulation. Improving leg circulation after 60 is not about finding a magic pill. It is about providing the raw materials your body desperately needs to maintain its vascular infrastructure. The 3 core vitamins, B3, niacin for vasodilation, vitamin C for vessel wall strength, and vitamin E for blood flow, lay the foundation. But they cannot work in isolation. They require the support of magnesium to relax the arteries, vitamin K2 to direct calcium away from them, and omega-3s to quench the inflammation that damages them. If you know someone over 50 who could benefit from this, share this video and subscribe for more simple health tips.